How's it going, folks? Joe Zamecki here, Texas Atheist Activist, State Church Separation Activist, proud Austinite, proud musician. It's great to be here, it's great to be alive, and thanks a lot for tuning in. I also want to say a big thank you to Adam for having me on this convention. So I've been busy lately, doing my activism thing. I like to get away from the keyboard once in a while and just get out and about on the sidewalk and hold up a sign and exercise some free speech. Lately I've been doing that a lot here in Austin, and I found sign shops that'll make signs that look really nice and professional, make them nice and cheap too. There's me in Houston. I was picketing Joel Osteen's church. So, a lot has happened over the years, and one thing I've been involved with quite a bit has been Atheists Helping the Homeless. Since 2009 it's been very successful. We've helped thousands of people in Austin, in Houston, in San Antonio, and now in other areas, southeast Texas, and we've got a new chapter in Denver. It's all going very well, and I'm just really glad there are some dedicated volunteers and donors out there willing to make this happen and make it successful for real. It's a very rewarding activity, and we've made some good friends down there. Every time I go down to the Austin giveaway, I always meet people I know who are not even in our group and give them a big hug. As well as people in our group. It's great. You meet a lot of people helping people in need. So we're still growing. We've got some new chapters, and we're looking for more volunteers and more people who would like to start chapters. We've gotten a lot done, and we've also put out the word in a lot of different ways. We're also looking for conventions to set up our table and items to give out, and hopefully a slot in the speaking list to get up there on the podium and talk about helping the homeless. It's been a lot of fun, and overall it's been received very nicely by the movement. Also, I'm still involved with the atheist community of Austin's Adopt a Street project. This is with Keep Austin Beautiful, a local organization that helps groups adopt streets and highways and creeks. And the great thing about it is we get a sign that can stay up right next to the road with our group's name on it, and we clean up parts of Austin, and it's a lot of fun. And I've talked to a lot of other activists across the country about doing this sort of thing, and I'm trying to document where that's happening. So if you're a part of a group that does that, please let me know. I'd like to get information and hopefully a photograph, like a group photo of your group around the sign, because it is really great to see atheists coming together to do something positive like that for society. Especially when we know that some people are still told that atheists don't have a basis for morality and can't really help out. Isn't that silly? Some people are still told that. Amazing. So recently I was a guest again on the Atheist Experience TV show, of which I was a co-host many years ago. That was a lot of fun. And I was very cordially invited to plug my books. So here we go, I'll plug them again. My first one is Leaving the Quiet Room, and this was about my upbringing in Catholic church school and why I'm such a strong and proud atheist, capital A. It also talks about a lot of the religious experiences I've had since then, that is, experiences with religious people and religious groups, and some of them are quite memorable, so I just had to write a book about it. The second book is Atheist Activism, Tales from the Trenches of the Free Thought Movement, and that's about the time I've spent as an activist, most of it anyway, including 8 years in which I was full-time employed by American Atheists Incorporated. And I just really had a great time. But I also felt like a lot of the things that happen in our movement with regards to activism are not very well being documented for the future, for other atheists and activists to be able to refer back to easily. And of course you can find things pretty quickly on Google, but our movement itself is really a lot of different groups and individuals instead of there being one giant source of information about the history of our movement. There's a lot of little bits of history fractured here and there with these different groups. When I worked at American Atheists, I had access, of course, to a whole lot of back issues of newsletters and magazines, not just literature that American Atheists put out, but also literature that a lot of other groups did as well, because AA collects literature from other groups. And I was able to see a lot of the history and notice, first of all, that yes, depending on which group you're looking at, you may see a little window into what's happening, but not much more than that, because no one group talks about all of the activity, all the activism that's happening. So I wanted to put something out in the form of a small amount of the history of our movement. Now this is just from my perspective, of course. I'm really only an expert on my own experiences at best. But I experienced a lot in our movement, and a lot of it was activism that should have been documented for the ages. So in book form, here's some of the history that I experienced that, like I said, it was so fun and so fascinating. I traveled all over the country and attended and worked convention after convention and met so many wonderful people and had so much fun that I just really needed to talk about it afterwards instead of just doing it and remembering, taking some pictures. There's a whole lot more to it than that, and so the very little details here and there that we don't normally hear about, I wanted to include those as well and give everybody something that you could just read. Just read the history, or a little bit of the history of our movement. And this is not going away. It's not going to be closed off in a building and kept away from the movement for some reason. Lately I've been working with Robert Ray and some other good volunteers on the E Pluribus Unum Original Motto Project. This is an organized response to the effort to put our nation's motto, "In God We Trust," all over government property, government vehicles, buildings. It's really quite astounding how they think that this shouldn't bother anybody. And I got to thinking about this. They feel so strongly about their religious beliefs. They're very dedicated and devout. They feel very strongly about them. But to anybody who doesn't agree with them on those beliefs, they feel that people who don't agree with them must not really have a very strong attitude about it. It seems like kind of an involuntary tactic to just put it out that your opposition, though they disagree with you, don't feel very strongly about it. Well, that's kind of a defense mechanism, isn't it? You see, if they feel strongly about what they're putting on there, and realizing that it is a religious issue, everybody who disagrees might feel very strongly as well. But their assumption pretty much eliminates the possibility for an unbiased discussion on that issue. And so what we're left with, since the media doesn't think that our side needs to be aired, is a rather frustrating situation, especially when it's law enforcement. It's scary enough when it's emergency vehicles regarding fire and ambulance, but the police. One thing's for sure, we've already tried the church police. In human history, this has been tried quite a lot. And anybody who's taken a world history class should have learned about things like the Inquisitions, the Crusades, the witch hunts, manifest destiny, and spectral evidence. And this should already be solved. In the United States, we have a country with state-church separation, which was an advance in human history that made it possible for us to be more equal in the eyes of the law. But when it comes to small-town sheriffs who feel they can do what they want, and then point to the national motto and say, well, it's already there, so it's legal, and never mention the Constitution or the fact that that motto was changed with a law respecting the establishment of religion, it all comes from the roots of a tree that is poisoned from the beginning, so to speak. So this is one organized effort, and we are trying to appeal for help. The original motto project is not a part of a national group, and the FFRF is doing some great work, but we really need some more support. Now, if you go to the original motto's Facebook page, you can see a whole lot of information, of course, about this. And there's also an off-Facebook website. At the website, you can find where to purchase bumper stickers and a stamp to be used on money, to cleanse money. We also encourage supporters of this project to send in pictures of yourself with that bumper sticker on your car. Show it off. A few years ago, someone did a study which showed that bumper sticker advertising is one of the most effective kinds of advertising, so go for it. Also, another form is the dollar itself. So recently, in response to the religious advertising on government vehicles, I've gone back to the sign, back to the sidewalk. First at the Texas State Attorney General's office in downtown Austin, and then at the Texas State Capitol building, both of which are one bus away from me. I love that. Also, I got my buddy Randall to come out and picket with me. That was a lot of fun. Sure would like to see a lot more people out there with us. Don't we look sharp? Alright, that was fun. Also, recently I took part in another one-person picket that wasn't as popular, a Pope picket. Now that's from years ago, the last Pope, and then recently another Pope visited the United States. First of all, remember that every time a Pope has visited the United States, it's been a tradition for American atheists and other individuals and other groups to picket that Pope, no matter where he goes in the United States. And yes, as with years past, this was kind of a tough sell for the movement, especially with this latest Pope who seems to be very good at PR. Well, the same old reasons apply. So please check out both my books. They're now available at Amazon.com, paperback and Kindle. Also, please check out Atheist Helping the Homeless and the Original Motto Project. And some personal stuff. There's my daughter's family. Hello! Yay! And here's what I do for a living on the sidewalk with a different kind of sign. Rock and roll. Also, I'd like to dedicate this presentation to Mark Johnson Simmons, who was one of the 3 co-founders of Atheists Helping the Homeless. A couple of years ago he died, and I only recently just found out about it. Yeah, Mark was a good guy. He was a proud atheist, and he helped us help a lot of homeless people. So I appreciate that greatly, and Mark will be missed. Well, thanks a lot for listening. I appreciate everybody and your support. Y'all have a great day. Thank you.